You're watching South Asia Newsline, and here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Tuesday, the 12th of May. No supply issue, says Oil Minister after PM Modi's austerity call. US officials question Pakistan's role in US-Iran mediation. And Nepali PM seeks army deployment along border amid Lipo Lake dispute. The Indian government on Tuesday assured citizens that the country has adequate fuel reserves and there is no immediate threat to energy supplies, despite escalating tensions in West Asia. This comes as Prime Minister Modi has repeated his call for austerity. We have a report.
India's Petroleum and Natural Gas Minister Hardeep Singh Puri, speaking at the CII Annual Business Summit, on Tuesday said that India currently has around 69 days of crude oil and LNG reserves, along with 45 days of LPG stock, sufficient to manage any short-term disruptions. The minister said the government had handled the situation responsibly and ensured uninterrupted fuel availability across the country. The reassurance from the government comes as the conflict in West Asia continues to threaten global energy supply chains, particularly through the strategically vital Strait of Hormuz, a key route for crude shipments.
When this crisis began, there were some concerns, but we converted the challenge into an opportunity. We have ramped up our domestic production of LPG, which used to be 36,000 metric tons per day. We have now taken it up to 54,000 metric tons per day.
India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi has meanwhile urged citizens to adopt austerity measures and reduce unnecessary consumption to minimize economic strain arising from the conflict. Addressing public gathering in Vadodara, the Prime Minister reiterated his appeal to conserve fuel, use public transport, adopt electric vehicles, and reduce dependence on imported goods. The Prime Minister also renewed his government's Vocal for Local campaign, calling on citizens to prioritize Indian-made products over imports.
आज समय की मांग है कि हम वोकल फॉर लोकल को एक जन आंदोलन बनाएं। विदेशी सामान की जगह लोकल उत्पादों को अपनाएं। अपने गांव, अपने शहर, अपने देश के उद्यमियों को हम ताकत दें।
Moving on, India's Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar has called for moving beyond a unidimensional narrative of mathematics and science as he urged a more democratic telling of history that recognizes India's foundational contributions. Speaking at the inauguration of the Global Diffusion of Mathematics exhibition at the United Nations on Monday, he said India's early development of concepts such as the binary system laid the groundwork for today's digital age and AI. Jaishankar said scientific progress has long been viewed through a narrow geographical lens, but changing global realities now demand broader cultural recognition. He added that democratization of technology and the world order must be matched by a democratization of history. The exhibition highlights India's ancient achievements including zero, the decimal system, algebra, trigonometry, infinite series for pi, and early forms of the theorem later known as Pythagorean theorem.
We need to appreciate that democratization of technology, indeed democratization of the world, requires a democratization of history. It is only by righting the distortions of the past that we can accurately address issues of the future. The global diffusion of mathematics is a tale of interconnectedness. But every supply chain of ideas has a starting point. As you walk through this exhibition, you will note that the very code which is the basis of our current technological age was conceptualized in India centuries ago.
And Pakistan's role as a mediator between the United States and Iran is reportedly drawing increasing skepticism. According to a CNN report, individuals close to US President Donald Trump have raised concerns that Pakistan may not be accurately conveying Washington's position to Tehran. The report said some US officials believe Islamabad has presented a more favorable interpretation of Iran's stance during peace discussions than what actually exists. Adding to Washington's concerns, CBS News reported that Pakistan had quietly allowed Iranian military aircraft to use its air bases during the conflict period. Citing anonymous US officials, the report claimed several Iranian aircrafts were parked at Pakistan's Noor Khan Air Base shortly after Trump announced a ceasefire with Iran in early April. The emerging differences between Washington's and Tehran's public positions have fueled speculation in US circles that communication through Pakistan may not be reflecting the full extent of American concerns. The development comes after Pakistan hosted a round of dialogue involving Iranian and American representatives and attempted to project itself as a key diplomatic bridge in the region. Moving on. A powerful blast ripped through a crowded market in northwestern Pakistan on Tuesday, killing at least 9 people and injuring dozens, according to emergency officials. The explosion struck Naurang Bazaar, triggering panic as shopkeepers and vendors rushed for safety while rescuers moved in to help the wounded. Visuals from the scene showed damaged shops and a badly wrecked vehicle. Rescue 1122 said around 30 people were injured, with several in serious conditions shifted to hospitals in nearby Bannu. THQ Hospital Medical Superintendent Muhammad Ishaq said the facility had received 37 patients, some of them critical. The attack comes just days after a car bombing and ambush on a police post in Bannu district that killed 15 police officers. Pakistan blamed Afghanistan-based militants for that assault and lodged a strong protest with Kabul. Tensions between the two neighbors have risen sharply in recent months. In February, Pakistan carried out airstrikes inside Afghanistan, saying militant hideouts were being targeted. The Taliban government denied sheltering militants and said Pakistan's security problems were an internal matter. The latest blast is likely to further strain already fragile ties between the two countries. And anger is reportedly rising in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir over failed talks, inflation and power shortages. Pakistan activist Amjad Ayub Mirza says protest leaders are now planning a strike and long march on June 9th.
Political activist Amjad Ayub Mirza has claimed growing anger in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir after a recent meeting between authorities and the Joint Awami Action Committee ended without results, with people also upset over inflation and power shortages. He said the committee has warned of a strike and long march on June 9th, alleging talks over the past 2 years only delayed action.
जॉइंट अवामी एक्शन कमेटी के रहनुमाओं के साथ जो मुजफ्फराबाद में मीटिंग हुई है वो फ्लॉप है और ये कोई पहली दफा फ्लॉप नहीं हुई। ये पिछले 2 सालों से पाकिस्तान की स्पॉन्सर्ड पीओजेके की पपेट हुकूमत जो है उसने एक ट्रक की बत्ती बनाई है और उस ट्रक की बत्ती के पीछे जॉइंट अवामी एक्शन कमेटी भागती है। ये उनको बुलाते हैं मुज़ाकरात के नाम पर, उनका टाइम वेस्ट करते हैं और जॉइंट अवामी एक्शन कमेटी की जो क़यादत है उसने भी अब ये फैसला कर लिया है कि इनफ इज इनफ और 9 जून को बहुत बड़ी जो है हड़ताल और लॉन्ग मार्च का प्लान किया जा रहा है।
He said public anger is rising over electricity shortages, heavy load shedding, higher school fees and soaring gas cylinder and petrol prices, worsening daily life for residents. Mirza also objected to 12 migrant seats in the local assembly, alleging they are used by inter-services intelligence-backed forces to influence June elections. He warned of a wider resistance movement if key demands remain ignored.
बिजली की शदीद किल्लत है, लोड शेडिंग होती है बहुत ज्यादा। इसके अलावा स्कूलों की जो बच्चों की फीसें हैं वो बहुत ज्यादा हो चुकी हैं। इसके साथ साथ गैस का जो सिलेंडर है वो बहुत महंगा हो चुका है। मतलब है 2-2.5 हज़ार का सिलेंडर था, अब 6 हज़ार के करीब पहुंच गया है उसकी कीमत। इसी तरह से पेट्रोल बहुत महंगा है। इसी तरह से जो इलेक्शन आ रहे हैं जून में, उसके लिए अभी तक जो महाजरों की सीटें हैं 12, उसके ऊपर कोई फैसला नहीं हुआ क्योंकि जॉइंट अवामी एक्शन कमेटी कहती है कि ये 12 सीटें महाजरों की खत्म करें क्योंकि पहली बात तो ये कि ये इनमें से बहुत सारे जो है वो रहते ही नहीं है पीओजे में, वो सिर्फ इलेक्शन के लिए अपने नाम जमा कराते हैं। और जाहिर है कि इन 12 सीटों को फिर पाकिस्तान की जो रियासत है वो इस्तेमाल करती है, वो इनको ISI के थ्रू या जैसे भी टिकटें दिलवा के इनको असेंबली में लाती है, और फिर ये जो है एक प्रेशर ग्रुप बनता है प्रो पाकिस्तान एलिमेंट का।
Moving on, fresh political tensions have emerged in Nepal over the long-standing Lipu Lake Pass border dispute with India, after opposition lawmaker Harka Raj Rai demanded deployment of the Nepal army and stronger border security measures along sensitive border areas. Speaking during the budget session of Nepal's parliament in Kathmandu, Rai questioned the government's silence over developments in Lipu Lake and asked why stronger diplomatic engagement had not taken place over this issue. The lawmaker also raised concerns over border security, saying national interests and territorial concerns required immediate political attention. He further criticized government on a range of domestic issues, including the use of ordinances, parliamentary accountability, foreign borrowing, and alleged irregularities in border trade management. His remarks comes at a time when border-related issues continue to remain politically sensitive in Nepal. India has long maintained Lipu Lake is an integral part of its territory, and it is ready for dialogue over the issue.
लिपु लेकमा भारतले नाका खोलेर चलाइरहँदा किन मौन छ यो सरकार? किन कूटनैतिक वार्ता गर्न सकेन? हस्ताक्षर बिनाको कूटनैतिक चिलकेटो नोटको भरमा किन चुप्पी साँधेर लुकेर बसेको छ यो सरकार? नेपाली सेनालाई सीमा रक्षामा त्यता पठायो कि सुकुम्बासी बस्तीमै दादागिरी देखाउँदै बस्यो? सीमा बनाउन नसक्नु, सीमा बचाउन नसक्नु, तर सेनाको दुरुपयोग गरेर आफ्नै गरिब जनताको बस्तीमा आतंक फैलाउनुको कारण के हो? त्यसको उत्तर चाहिन्छ हामीलाई।
That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time tomorrow. Good night.